I don't think saying hang in there is gonna work. Georgia lay there crumpled alongside Shannon's corpse. His chest was stained bright red. And judging by his still opened eyes, I'd hate to say it to Ava, but I couldn't pick up any signs of life. After moving to take George's pulse down, Nanjo shook his head wordlessly, repeating that George was dead. Oh, thanks, Nanjo. We really needed your expert opinion on this. What the fuck, dude? Brushing him aside, Ava once again crouched beside George and started crying on top of her at the top of her lungs. With George's death, one thing is certain. The murders hadn't ended on the 8th twilight. The epitaph was being carried out in its complete form, including the 9th twilight, and none shall be left alive. Okay, so I was right. It was a little extra right there. I was really starting to lose track of things. For some reason, Ava's half-crazed cries actually made me cool down. I was right. It was one too many. That means something got screwed up. And I think I'm going to have a theory on that at the end of this episode. So, stay tuned for that. I don't feel like talking about it right now, of course. I'll save that for a little bit later. But I'm thinking about it. Crestfallen and exhausted, I flopped onto the sofa and plunked my feet on top of the table. Maybe all these numbers numbed my heart. Instead of just being frightened, I felt completely confused. Dad and Kyrie are dead, and people have been killed off one by one, starting with the servants. And there's been a hell of a lot of them by now. I don't know where the first murder occurred. But they might have been killed at a rate of about 1 person per hour by now. Fuck, that actually might be true. You've had 14 people be killed. We believe that the boat will come for us around 9 tomorrow. There's still a full 12 hours until then. 14... Actually, no. 15, 12... It might be. I don't know how many hours ago it started, officially. It might be enough, actually. It might. 14 people have been killed, though. There's still a full 12 hours until then. How many more sacrifices to the witch will there be? Have to be for us to survive? With the 4 of us, 1 goes each hour. We won't last any longer than 4 hours. We don't even know if will last until midnight tonight. Yesterday after lunch, we came into this parlor. Just as they started talking about serving some tea Aunt Rosa had bought, we kids decided to take a walk. Maria was jumping around, wasn't she? Didn't Shannon bring us some cookies? She said Kumasawa had baked them or something. It would have been hilarious if she had baked some mackerel into them, wouldn't it? That's right, I'll never hear Kumasawa's mackerel jokes again, will I? Oh right, if only I remembered stuff about Kumasawa, that wouldn't be fair to anyone else. Why did Dad and Kyrie even go outside? It's not like going without food for a day would kill us. Exactly. That's why I know Kyrie had a different fucking motive than just food. I mean, Hideyoshi's was just food. I mean, come on. Or the witch of the kitchen. And all that bullshit. And, it's just... there has to be something else. Kyrie is not that stupid. Because that is such a stupid thing to do. I wouldn't think she would do it. She had to suspect someone. And that's why she wanted to leave. I think she suspected Hideyoshi. And that's why she wanted to corner him. By taking Rudolph and her. Since they both had... well, she could have taken, Hideyoshi's gun. Like if he decides to be the, quote, macho man and carry the food. They both have guns. They pull it on him and say, what the fuck are you involved in? Or we'll put you down like a goddamn animal. That kind of thing. I could see her doing that. But it apparently didn't work out well. Now did it? I don't know. There's something more to her. She's not stupid. So why did Gluttony get a hold of them and make them go out for food? He got hold of Hideyoshi, but not her. I'll bet that fearless dad of mine just started complaining about being hungry. Kirei, you were supposed to be the brakes for my reckless dad. Why didn't you stop him? And what about your daughter, Anje? She's still just 6 years old. I want to see more of her because we keep talking about, like, mentioning her very, very briefly, but never actually talk about her. Don't tell me you plan to leave her in my care. After all, it's doubtful now whether even I'll be able to leave this island alive. What the fuck are you doing? What? It's been kind of noisy for a while. By the time I looked up to see what it was, Jessica and Aunt Ava had suddenly started fighting each other. Hello? Now maybe I should say that Jessica was grabbing a hold at Ava. Whoa. Shit. Wow, god damn it, you're stealing my thunder right now, Jessica, but okay, sure, whatever. How is it foolish? You were the only one in the parlor with them, and you just happened to wash your hands and then they disappeared. Come on now. Boom. She has a fucking point. Someone had to. How do you know? Literally all three of us, so it's very highly unlikely that we did anything. Yes, we all three are in on it, and you're the only one who isn't. Because we'd leave you alive with a gun if that was the case. God damn it, both of you are stealing my thunder right now, actually. God, you people are really just love to take my thunder away from me because, yes, I think someone did know he slipped out and then locked the window. Because if they weren't on the plane and someone was faking their death, i.e. Hideyoshi. Well. Look what we have here. And then, you know, he accidentally killed George, and then it's like, fuck. Oops. I was too hungry. Yeah, the only two people with alibis is me and Jessica and I. Yeah, that's what makes her suspicious in those two murders. Yeah, it's just Nanjo. Oops. Fucking talked himself into it. Oh, God damn it. Get out of here. The witch's fault, huh? I wonder if that's a good way to calm down the situation right now. No. Yeah, I finally understand why three people evaporated from the guest house when all the doors and windows were locked from the inside. This is what they were after, making us think the culprit was inside and sparking this ugly mutual hatred. Has to be the culprit's and witch's goal. But if that's the case, how did the culprit lock it from the outside? When that group was attacked, their master key was definitely stolen, but the doors and windows of the guest house were built so that they couldn't lock him from the outside, no matter how much you tried. Again, windows, yes, not doors. You have to be able to unlock a door, that means you can be able to lock said door. You can't set a chain on it, but you can still lock it. So I still want to push back on that. I'm going to just chalk it up to a translation error. And that they don't literally mean that, because if so, then you can't unlock the door from inside by that same logic. Or outside. Which would completely defeat the whole purpose of it. and would really fuck up literally everything, because then you can't actually lock these doors when you go outside, because you can't unlock them. So I'll push back on that, still. So that master key should have had nothing to do with the guest house closed room. Someone inside had to. Jessica and Ava were turning their sadness at losing their blood relatives into anger at the person in front of them. She's going to kill Jessica, by the way. Calling it. Dr. Nanjo was trying to step between them. And I sat on the sofa staring up at the ceiling. I'm actually removing Ava's gun right now, and saying, if you're gonna have an argument, please do not hold this gun with you. It is extremely a heated situation. You probably want to put this down. But that's just me. Thinking about things that didn't even matter anymore with a worn out expression. I just couldn't believe that this was the same parlor that had been so warm and pleasant midday yesterday. And just for a short time before the typhoon hit. Oh, it's surprise you. She fucking shot. Ava's a killer. Ava's a fucking killer. Kill her. I'd pin her down on the ground and just kill her. Have her fucking arrested. She's guilty. Like, immediately jump on top of her and take her gun from her. You need to. I would be snap into action. The sudden sound of a gunshot shook me out of my half-asleep trance. I'd fucking full-bore tackle her and beat the shit out of her. You don't discharge a firearm like that. Smoke was rising out of the barrel of what Ava held. I don't care what excuse she gives. She's going to give up, one way or another. Jessica had fallen on the floor and was covering both her eyes. Ava and Dr. Nanjo were looking down at her in shock. Shocked? You shot her? No, I'm not asking that. What the fuck are you doing? Yes, I'd be cursing the fuck out of her and saying, God, you stupid fucking cunt. You know that shit. Stop. Now I'm really fucking taking her to the ground. Stop, Ed. You have a fucking gun. Stop. No, there's no time for questions. There's one gun in this area. You pin her down, and you subdue her. That's all I do. No fucking mercy. She discharged a firearm inside this room with 2 other people. So did Jessica grab it on Ava, which turned into a scuffle. She can just hit her with the butt of the rifle. Did they start fighting over Ava's gun? I would have taken it from her. And this is exactly why I'm glad that... Did that some kind of impact cause the trigger to be pulled? No. I don't know if the bullet had grazed her or if it just burned by the discharge. But either way, Jessica was covering both of her eyes, screaming, it hurts, and rolling around on the ground. Do something! Oh yeah, you tell them. Fuck off. Good. You fucking blinded her. Yeah, I'm taking her to the ground. Dr. Nanjo let Jessica borrow his shoulder, saying that he would tend to her in the servant room. No, good thing. I'm going to beat the shit out of Ava real quick. I'll be right back. The servant room in this mansion had a bed and a first aid kit and was able to function as an infirmary. I'd be pretty pissed if someone even attempted to shoot towards me. You know, you're not very convincing after you legitimately just discharged your firearm. And could have possibly killed her, so... and most likely blinded her as well, so I mean... you don't really have much of a case to stand on right now. She doesn't open her eyes, that's fine. She can move all around she wants. Jessica continued to curse on Ava as her parents murdered her. It seemed that Ava couldn't conceal her trembling at the fact that she'd pulled the trigger even if it had been an accident. Fuck you, an accident. You didn't... No. This is where the bullshit happens. You never put your finger on the trigger unless you intend to shoot. So, she intended to shoot. Don't give me this accident bullshit. She intended to fire that gun. There was no accident. She intentionally fired it. You were older than her. You have a gun as well. You could just tell her, stop, hit her in the head with the butt of the rifle and say, go away. Discharge it up instead of towards her. And saying, you can sit the fuck down or you're gonna get shot again. Or not again, or just, you'll get shot if you don't stand down or something like that. I didn't hear any of that. Even though Battler said he, it was just noisy. You still just don't fire. You don't. Yeah, I'm still restraining her, by the way. Giving the whole, it's for your own safety, as I take the gun from her that she will never touch again. I didn't know if it was because Ava couldn't bear her mistake, or she'd given up control to her body to anger at the person who had killed her son. Or if it was both of those all mixed together. At any rate, she ran out of the corridor yelling and fearful and screaming. I was also worried about Jessica's condition, but right then, I couldn't leave Ava alone. Why would she go off on her own in the mansion of all places? Is she suicidal? Dr. Nanjo took Jessica towards the servant room. I chased after Ava, dashing into the depths of the mansion. God, what the hell's going on? After sitting Jessica on the servant room bed, Nanjo told her several times not to touch her eyes and examine the infected area. Oh, don't touch your eyes. Started scratching at her eyes. Fuck! The barrel had probably been near near her eyes. There was a possibility that the flames from the discharge had injured her corneas. There was no threat to her life, but it would probably be necessary to take to a doctor as soon as possible. Nanjo applied emergency first aid, covering the affected area with gauze and wrapping it with a bandage. As a result, Jessica completely lost her field of vision. No, it hurts like a motherfucker. I have this bullet hole. It's really itchy. God damn it. Oh god, my eyes have been burned. Oh my god, it's really itchy. I'd rather go to, the emergency room first, personally. I want medical care immediately, not just an ophthalmologist. Sorry, ophthalmologist. But to be fair, actually in real life I do know I'm an ophthalmologist, so... Jessica, I could actually hook you up with a free one. Like immediately. No fucking requirements for, seeing someone. Actually, I know a couple, actually. One kind of, one really well. Yeah. I'd file a fucking police report when I get done with this. She's, you could argue the case of potential homicide. Or attempted manslaughter. Fuck you! She fired a gun! Oh, get the hell out of here. I mean, you can't argue against that. It's really sound logic. You really can't. You can't argue against that. Because those are factual statements that she was the only one in the first floor guest house. She didn't have an alibi. She was the only last one in there. It's like, you can't argue that. She's suspicious at the least, guilty at the most. See, that's actually... God damn it, Jessica, you actually said what I had said. Now I'm thinking about it, I don't think it is right. Again, I'll elaborate later. I need to see a couple of things happen to be sure, though.
昨夜の親族会議の途中でこっそり抜け出し、みんなを殺したに違いない。もしそうならば、警察が調べればすぐにわかることです。
Fuck the police investigation.
警察はすごいですぞ。鑑識の手にかかればわからぬことなどありません。
Oh, fuck off. There's so many cold cases. Shut up with that.
私たちは誰かを疑ったり。
Yeah, nothing but love here, especially to the guy who's killing people. Or female. Nanjo's gonna kill Jessica, isn't he? Okay, old man, stop, please. When Jessica's abuse of Ava had reached a crescendo, she actually had started glaring instinctively, and the pressure on her eyes had hurt her. I wouldn't say abuse of Ava. Not gonna lie, I think it's kind of justified right now, especially after, you know, possibly being blinded. Jessica herself realized that the more she talked, the more the wound would hurt. And regardless of whether she'd overcome her suspicion of Ava, she regained her composure for the time being. I mean, if it makes her feel better, she probably would have a... It really probably hurts more to cry, so you probably shouldn't think of sad thoughts either. So you probably shouldn't cry. Please don't cry. She'd heard that Cannon had been killed in the chapel. Jessica still hadn't seen his face after he died. Jessica was now less fearful about the fact that she was blinded, and more frightened that the police would carry Cannon's body away while she couldn't see. And that she would have to say her final farewell without being able to look at his face. God damn, that's rough. I need to check something though. George, right? Yeah. Quartz found in the mansion parlor. The weapon was used as assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object in exchange for a soul, which gave 8 numbers. If you say it, a small golden land will be opened. Suspicious. Her anger at the culprit and her sadness at the death of the person she'd liked. Those mixed emotions started her crying. But right now, tears were actually painful for her. See? So she wasn't even permitted to leisurely remember his face in bygone days. She could do nothing but sit on the bed and let her head droop, withstanding the pain. I'm worried about her killing another person. Oh, she's pretty shook right now. Realizing that Jessica had calmed down for the time being, and letting out a sigh, he stuck his head out into the hallway to look for any sign of the others coming back. Oh, hello. God, I hope he'd said that. Hello there. Then their eyes met. Nanjo, unable to understand who this person was bewildered for an instant. Hello, how are you doing? Jesus Christ. It's just so unrefined. Ugh. At least in the first 2 episodes, it was like a much more refined killing game, but this is just anything goes right now. Nanjo had no way of understanding who the person in front of him was, much less what she had just said. Don't mind me, I'm just talking to this little lady over here. Unable to see, joke's on her. Jessica had to rely on voices alone to make out the situation. But since she heard Nanjo say something in an uneasy tone, she tightened up, thinking that something bad might have happened. I would get up and go towards it.
やめてくれ殺さないでくれわしには病弱の孫がおる ここでは死ねんのだ頼む見逃してくれ
It's a grandchild. First time I've heard of that. Possible motive to join a killer. Just saying. Jessica couldn't do anything except call out from the bed. Was she fucking restrained? Get up! Just because he can't see you, I mean, you'll run into a couple chairs here and there, but I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Judging by the tone of his voice, Nanjo was in the corridor confronting someone, and he was scared. His life must have been threatened just a second ago. Okay, that is a horrifying death. The witch pointed the end of her golden staff at Nanjo. Even though he didn't know what she was planning to do, Nanjo assumed that she must be trying to take his life. She just starts poking him to death. Oh, someone just got shot. A sharp sound echoed. And just as sharply, the tip of the golden staff tapered and stretched, slicing into Nanjo's forehead. Jessica, who could only try to grasp what was happening with her ears, had no clue what was going on. That sounded like a gunshot to me. But even so, she was able to realize that with that sound, Nanjo had died. And so she could tell that the person who was now in the corridor right now in front of the servant room. Furthermore, since she couldn't see, she wouldn't be able to run away, much less resist. Knowing that she was a mouse in a trap in a life or death situation, Jessica shuddered. Nanjo, where are you? His corpse was found in the hallway in front of the servant's room. No weapon used on him, a spear, a gun. Just a little bit longer, and you'd probably have managed to return alive. However, in the very end, the witch did not permit that.
Jessica.
No, thank you. Please don't come in here. I'm indecent. Please don't. You fucking cunt. Says you. Okay, have fun. I'll just be here, not trying to escape out this window. Okay, you won't get bored though. You're fucked. Yep, I totally won't leave this room the second I hear you walk away. Wait. I need something clarified. Did they ever say they took away or like found Kyrie, Rudolph, or Rudolph's and Hideyoshi's guns? Did they ever mention that? Well, it would be in it. Or Krause's gun, either. Where are those three guns? Those are unaccounted for. That's really important to know. I need to know that as well before I give my final ideas of what happened in this episode. I'm starting to get a nice grasp of what's going on, though. At least I think I am.